ಯಾರಿಗೆ? ಸೈನ್ ಇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಇದೇನ್ರಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೊಂದ್ ಮೌಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ತಗೋತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
Yeah.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು ನೋಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳಿದ ನೋಟ್ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ.
Okay, please tell me when to start.
Madam, almost 20 people have joined. They are joining. Can we start and wait for 2 minutes? Madam, you can start now. Hello. Hello.
Okay, so let's start. So we're good to go. Can we start?
You can start.
Okay. So today I thought that I'm going to show you, more than talking and giving lectures. I will show you some real cases on almost all the technology, including artificial intelligence and IoT, and also so these certain cases of certain companies. I'll show you the video cases and we'll discuss about it. So let's start first. So before starting, I thought a little bit about the cybersecurity concept. I'm a little few minutes on that, how it is growing, how companies are encouraging ethical hackers and all. That I will start with, and then I'm going to go to the artificial intelligence examples in the form of how our AI, AW domain is used with the IoT in doing a lot of things, and we will see that. Okay. So just give me a few seconds. So I'll start with Internet of Things first. Okay, so all of you can see now? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's start with the Internet of Things. And when we are starting with the Internet of Things, I wanted to actually focus on telling you that how Internet of Things has become a kid's job now. How even the companies like Google and even Microsoft, especially Google, started this trend where they say that a 11-year-old boy can also become a coder or can become a hacker and help a company. Let's say you don't want to be, you want to complete your study, but still you want to do some work for the company. Then how you can just do some studies, which is information is available online on videos or tutorials like that. And there are a lot of hacking codes are also which are available on internet, and you can actually become a coder. So a kid, so hacking and the computer is just like has become like a kid's job. So that's what I'm going to talk about today a little bit before I start with AI examples and all. So kit today's are basically coming up with a hacker and computer scientist. A lot of schools are actually focusing on the kids and they're developing coding or making them ethical hackers depending on what is their basically interest. So in today world of cybersecurity, we have two kinds of hackers: white hat hackers and black hat hackers. So the white hat hackers are those good people who are using their skills and knowledge to protect the internet from private information, right? And they're the people or the technologists who are hired by the company to look at the loophole at their applications or their published services on the internet, and or maybe on their database or on their web servers, and try to find out a loophole so that nobody can steal their information. Whereas the black hat hackers are the people who learn the skills of hacking and venture into the dark underside of the internet. They go to the deep dark web, and these dark internet is a dangerous place, right? So darknet, in one of the session I was talking about that Now, what happens in schools, and a lot of youngsters have actually become very much interested in becoming ethical hackers, whose services are hired by the company on a temporary basis, or maybe you can become a freelancer and you can provide certain services. How companies are paying you per hour on this, that also I will show you. So, working with the internet connected device, for example, you can start with your home, right? How it is easy to do this, because there are a lot of code which are already written, and these hacking codes are available on the internet. You can go to GitHubs also, or you can go anywhere you can find a coding to hack certain system. You can most devices in the houses can be hacked, from your smart TV to anything which is internally connected. Your smart speaker, smart TV, your watch, your phones, anything. So lot of instructional videos are available, not only on the MOOC side, but also on the YouTube sites which are available. So the information provided on these courses or on these videos are something which can make anybody a hacker. So the question comes is, how secure are the internet devices connected in your home? Any devices, whether it's a television where you're watching an OTT platform like Netflix, or it's a phone where you have downloaded an app, or you are doing even the net banking on that, or you have a laptop, you have a printer which is connected through Wi-Fi. So anything. So Internet of Thing is becoming a very real thing. Now we have bunch of new things like light bulbs, just a minute. So we have a lot of new things which has come up on Internet of Things, like bulbs, cameras, thermostats, baby monitor, smartphones are already there. So with the Internet of Thing becoming so popular in our house, and it is becoming day to day, use, the young kids are also becoming very interested in, writing certain programming code to hack these internet connected devices. And internet is full of all those kinds of writing codes which are available, and it is very easy to learn. Even you people can go ahead, connect to numerous tutorials, numerous scripts, instructional videos which are available, which can walk you and make you a hacker step by step. So I'm not going to teach you that, because you can learn that in your course. But the thing is that, and the question also comes in our mind, that how many homes today have a IP cameras? See, normally today we are very much, aware about the security issues, whether it's a physical security issues or it is a digital security issues. So most of the houses have cameras, and these cameras, especially, for example, a couple is going for work, and they have kept a maid servant to look after their kids. Now, in order to monitor their kid, they have IP cameras now, right? This IP cameras can be a baby monitor or a security camera, without not necessarily a baby monitor, which can just tell you that what is happening in your house. Suppose you have old parents, you want to just monitor them, or you have your kids are staying at home and you are at work place, or maybe your house is there, you just want to manage it. So how about these all things which are connected using an internet protocol, the IP, whether it's a connected TV or it's a camera, IP camera and all, the hackers, this can actually let a hacker to move into your devices which is connected through internet, and hack it and do certain harms to you, or maybe just for fun also they can do it. So let's say that, let's take one example. Let's consider that there's a camera which is connected to internet. Okay. And this is internet, and you are protected by a password, and you have kept it in your house. So what happens when you connect it with a password? A key is generated from a password, which is sent back and forth to the camera. This key is also used by the computer to see what is coming from the camera. And by using a very simple intercept programs, a hacker can actually see the key from the camera, which you are using basically to send and receive information on your mobile phone through this. So whatever information or whatever video is being recorded, or live video can be watched on your phone, and this is through a password or for a key. But the hacker can intercept this particular key, and can send a command with the key to the camera to change the password, or the hacker can also see what is there on the whatever is there on the camera. The good news is that your hacker and you are required to be on the same network, then only it is possible. So if it is on a different network, it is not possible, especially if you're using a company or a hotel Wi-Fi, then it is very difficult. It is very easy to do that. So the best protection in this case is that you secure a wireless network. Somebody can also go ahead and hack a light bulb. Guess what, they can do this, and they can just switch off and on your light bulb, and you will feel that some ghost has come and they are doing it. So internet device manufacturers are getting smarter actually nowadays, because all these things can be happening. So they know about the security vulnerability. They also know that they need to update the software so that it becomes very difficult for the hacker to hack these devices or to misuse these devices and cause injury. Because what happens if suppose your web camera, or maybe your suddenly your smart speaker start playing something or start recording something without your knowledge, and you get to find this, you may feel that's a manufacturer problem, and you will stop buying and trusting a manufacturer. So how about so what happens, even sometime what happens, the webcam which you use on your what you call the computers, and this webcam is a hacker can actually send a kind of a virus on which is onto this, and they can install this virus on your computer through a mail attachment which may have a virus on that. And what happens when you open this attachment which has come through a mail, the virus starts, and it clicks on that, virus starts the camera automatically, and make you the victim of the hackers. And the hackers can control the webcam on your computers. This virus which has come from the email can make you a potential victim. So this is very easy to do. Nowadays, this all codings are available online, and you can do that. If you're on the same network, you can hack somebody's camera and you can just do it. So you have to be a little careful, because what happens when the web camera have a light which indicate that the camera is on. So for example, if you are seeing a light, and if you see that the light is suddenly on, and you have not on the camera, that means there must be some hacker who might have got some virus into your computer, and so you have to find out that, and you have to do that. One way is to use the antivirus software which can give you precaution regarding this. So the damage before it is too late, or before it is what I'm trying to tell you is that this has become so easy now that even the kids can do this, and mostly the kids also become the victim of all these hackers. So kid to adult today, a lot of security ethical hacking codes or codings are available. People are making the using these codes for fun. There are a lot of security patches which are developed by companies like Microsoft. Your operating systems are also Microsoft Windows operating system has the latest security patches. You can use a very strong password also. The password is one of the best way to secure your thing. The password should be best. It should be strong in the terms of mix of letters, numbers, special characters, all those kinds. Even on social media also, passwords are normally encrypted, but still you can do that. So the next thing we're going to talk about is security bounty. Now, this is something where you can make your career. What is security bonding hunting? Just a minute. Huh? So basically, what has happened is the security bounty hunters. So what are do you know that you can get paid to find a security bug in a device which is connected to the internet? There are a lot of companies which are paying you this, and these are called security bounters, the bug bounters. So the bug bounting program exists, There are plenty of them. The bug bounty program come as a response to a sharp rise in the terms of cybercrime, hacking incidents, and which may actually cause a problem to a company in the terms of privacy, financial loss, data breaches. So with the Internet of Thing, which is basically connecting a lot of devices, like your car connecting to the internet, your television connecting to the internet, all kinds of devices are becoming smart when they are connecting to the net. So the locating a bug in the software is something which you can find out, because what happens, the black hat hackers normally try to find out these loopholes or bugs in the software and then try to exploit that. So the software developers are paying more and more attention to security in their designs and coding. After that also there are a lot of breaches which is happening. Okay, so security bonding program, what happens is you get paid to find a security bug in the device, right? And the second thing, as the software developer paying more attention, as I said, to the designing and coding, many program consist of hundreds and thousands and sometimes millions and of lines of codes, which almost guarantee that some security vulnerability will not happen. There will be no security crack. There are external security which are becoming very important. Software developers also know that security in their code is very critical, and they have to create a bug bounty program, you know, that pays anyone who can report the security hole. So the bug bounty program of a company hires the ethical hackers to find, the loopholes or the security crack in the software. So the kid and young computer scientists are becoming taking this position now. It's not necessary that you should be engineer or you should be something. And these things, you can become a bug bounty programmer, which can help you in earning money, and you can pay your fees in the college. You can just have a extra, pocket money and all. So let me tell you about how these companies are helping. So Facebook has a bug bounty program that reward hunters for finding bugs like forgery, break-ins, and the minimum award is $500, and there is no maximum award. Minimum you can get that if you can find and tell Facebook. So Facebook has already, you won't imagine that they have paid around more than $3 lakh, to bounty hunters. Then similarly, the Google also has 3 bug bounty programs which are connected to their large products, like Google search engine, Google Chrome, and Android security reward. Google Chrome is the browser of which also offered a bounty for the finding the flaws in the browser applications. So you can find that. You can tell Google will pay you $500 to $50,000 for bug discovery in the Chrome. Then the company like Yahoo, which has been reported to have a lot of security breaches, they also pay bounties for all sort of information security code problem. Yahoo bug bounty program range from $50 to $15,000. So far, Yahoo have paid around $1 lakh bounty to come. Microsoft also have their own bug bounty programs for online services and defenses, especially in their operating system. So they also pay the bounty of $500 to $15,000. So if you really want to make money and you learn ethical hacking, you can become a bug bounty for all these big companies. You can go to the site and you can register, or you find any kind of a loopholes or security, cracking. You can just tell them and earn this money. So the next thing of the internet is robots, right? Now technology is moving so fast, students, that there are many devices which are connected, which have sensors, which have Internet of Things. Robot technology is also one of the amazing technology which is rapidly developing. And I'm going to focus today on robotic technology. So more and more robots are getting connected. What are robots? Robots are, again, a group of hardware and software which has IoT devices, which have AI, which have cloud computing, all this mix of technology. So the robots have millions of applications which are found today. A lot of robots are being used in house and business, especially in US, and Japan is one of the countries which is famous for robotic engineering. So robots have an ability, to track the sound like voice and attempt to observe a person's eyes. So you can have that kind of robot which can observe your eye and tell. You can observe a room or space, right, full of people. A robot like can focus on physical security. They can become a security agent for you or security guard for you. A security robot job could be to protect people in the computer system. Robots can protect your computers also from intruders. So these intelligent robots are created today in the business environment to give you physical security with the help of sensors, to recognize a voice pattern, physical characteristic. Like for example, you have a eye retina pattern to understand whether you're allowed in some restricted area or not. You have IoT's, eye cards, basically to open a door which is restricted for certain number of people. Robot can compare your asking. So robot can do a lot of things. It can compare a voice pattern. It can compare a eye retina pattern, find difference in that. It can also see your badge and identify you. It can authorize you into some space which is restricted. So that's how the robots are basically used as a human backup, and these are helpful. Not only these are helpful as a security, in the business organization, these are also helpful in the home market, where the toys are there which can respond to touch. You have the helping robot which help you with the homework. There are robots which can help you doing your home jobs, cleaning of the house, like all those kinds of things are already there even in India. So today we are going to talk about students. I'm going to next topic is about the smart cars, how smart cars use artificial intelligence and Internet of Things, and how this is going to be the future, where you need not learn the driving. Without learning driving, you can actually, 1 minute, I'll just see. Yeah, so somebody has asked how Internet of Things is affecting our life. So I just explained, Pooja, that how Internet of Things is basically affecting. Just a minute. So basically, Internet of Things is giving us a lot of control and making the thing connected with us. We can stay connected with our house. We can stay connected with our health. Like for example, whatever the smartwatch we are wearing, it can make us aware of the body temperature, make us the sensor in the that can make us and analyzing our health conditions, recording our health parameters, giving us alerts. The IoTs can make communicate a particular non-living object to you and give you certain data to help you in taking certain decisions. So one of the major importance of the smart car and AI is the smart car, AI and this. So we use sophisticated sensors, we use chips which are embedded into the physical things, just like smart car. And these devices which has IoT transmit the data to a cloud computing. So the sensors basically, or the IoT has three components. One major component is the sensor, which is an IoT device. The IoT device has a sensor, and this sensor can be a temperature sensor. It can be a fall sensor. It can be a light sensor. It can be a distance sensor. It can be a speed sensor. It can be any kind of a sensor. So our world is surrounded with IoT devices. What this sensor does, it basically take the data in the form of whatever data it is. It can be, if it is a camera sensor, it's a temperature sensor, it will record your temperature. And this data is then sent on the cloud computing server. The cloud computing will have an application hosted on their server. And these cloud servers application will have an AI and analytics built. This AI uses their intelligence and come out with the solution and predict that what it is. For example, it can predict and tell you that your heartbeat is high, or it can predict and tell you that there is a car nearby in the smart car, which I'm going to explain you now. A lot of things are used. We are using IoTs, cloud computing, and AI in factory and making it smart factories. We have smart cities. I've been already told that One of the expert has already taken a session on smart city, so I'm not going to talk about that. So you can have a real-time update on where your car is parked. You can have an autonomous parking. You can get down in the hotel and the car can go and park themselves. I'll show you the videos of this. You can monitor your personal health. So there are varieties of devices which can communicate to you, which can tell you and inform you about certain things. So when you are talking about the example of the car, how let's say example, I'm not talking about autonomous car here. Let's talk about a simple car. You know, when you're going on a long trip, you notice that your, let's say your check engine light has come on. You know that you need to have your car looked at a mechanic, so that you're sure that any minor change or any kind of a change is going to not bother you during the long drive. So you, before going for a long drive, you get it checked. Now, lot of simple car which are very like Maruti or any car which is available in Indian roads have sensors nowadays. These sensors can trigger a lot of information to you on your screen. For example, it can trigger a check engine light to also monitor the pressure of the car brake. It can, in like for example, in Mercedes, you have the check car tire pressure. If the tire pressure is below the pressure, it can tell you that tire pressure. The sensor can help you in there are speed sensors which can tell you that what is the speed of your car. The sensors are there which can for example, in Ola and Uber, the certain companies have actually put a speed sensors, so that they cannot, the drivers are given an alert if if the speed is higher than 60 or something. They don't want their driver to ride above that. And also, when you see on the roads, the traffic policemen also, the traffic signals, they may have certain sensors in the road itself, where they measure the the speed of a particular coming car. So what happens, I've seen in Calcutta that the speed sensors give you, there are a lot of notification which comes on the roads, which says that, okay, fine, your speed should be between 40 to 50 in this. And any car which crosses the speed of 50, the high speed limit, immediately I see that there are the traffic policemen come and they find those people. In Singapore, it is better than that. Nobody comes after you. In Singapore, you need to have a device, the device which has money. It's like a wallet system. And whenever you break a traffic rule, there are a lot of sensors on the roads which are there on the traffic light. So traffic light has a sensor which will observe that whether you have broken, you have changed lane, or do whatever it is. They sense it and they break. Whenever you break this, they are going to charge you. So this is how I'm going to talk now. So just give me a few seconds. So I'm going to take the example of the cases with the, just a minute. The Google driverless car, I'm going to talk that example. And the Google driverless car is the best example of a car with the mixed technology, AI, cloud computing, as well as the IoT devices. So let's see this. Can you all see? Yes? Okay. So let's talk about the components of the Google driverless car, and then I'll show you some other company cars also, and then how they are using IoT, AI, and all. So let's look into some of the introduction, that how this car was. So this car was introduced in the designing and everything was started in 2006. They started working on that, and the Google driverless car was actually a project by the Google called WYMO, WYAMO, and they wanted to come out with a car. And there was a person called Sebastian Tarun. Sebastian Tarun used to work actually in Microsoft, and he shifted. Sorry. He was an expert in artificial intelligence, and he actually got an idea. And in one of the TED talk, which I'm going to show you now, he spoke about how many people millions and millions of people are losing their life in a car accident or in a road accident because of the carelessness of the human drivers. And how artificial intelligence can solve this problem, where they can come up with an autonomous or driverless car which will not only follow the traffic rules but also reduce the number of accidents. So he came up with this. I'm just going to show you the video.
Google is finally getting serious about self-driving cars. As in, it's getting serious about making self-driving cars and putting them in consumer hands. Now, the tech giant is finally making its own self-driving car company called Waymo. In the 7 years of the original experimental phase, Google has put more than a few notches in its belt. After more than 2 million miles of driving, its cars can dodge jaywalkers and interpret hand signals from construction workers. They've mastered the dance of the four-way stop. They pull over for emergency vehicles and they brake for squirrels. To prove it's ready, Google's car carried a passenger around public roads with nobody around to take control in case something went wrong.
We drove all over the Bay Area and showed that, yes, indeed, we have the capability. This trip was about showing that we can actually take that capability and turn it into something that's ready to go out into the real world.
Oh, and that passenger, he's legally blind. The drive was a quick 10-minute or so loop around the Texas Capitol, which conveniently doesn't have any laws saying you have to have a human backup for a self-driving car. But for Steve Mahan, it was a really big deal.
Going where I need to go in a vehicle without having to make arrangements with other drivers or a family member or some form of public transportation. It just let me be a whole person again.
Ever since deciding to make a fully driverless car, one without a steering wheel or pedals, Google has harped on the potential to put anybody who can't drive back in command of a vehicle. And now that Google's finally talking about bringing that technology to market, a fresh litany of challenges arises. To hit the ground in cities around the world, Waymo must map every inch of every street it's going to travel. It has to drive down hardware costs and prove its software to the public and to public officials. It has to navigate a spaghetti bowl of regulations that change from city to state to country, a lot of which haven't even been written yet. It has to figure out how to manufacture cars and then squeeze money out of a newborn industry that's already crowded. But if they can figure it out, they'll have at least one customer ready to hop aboard.
I'm piling up a list of all the places I need to go.
Okay. So what are the components of these, car? So obviously the car has some hardware sensors, which is IoT, and the driver of the car is AI. And then again, they have cloud computing also, where all the data related to whatever is collected through sensor has to be, stored. And the application program with AI has to be there somewhere there. Now, what happens? Now, car has Google Maps. Along with that, there are a lot of hardware sensors which work on a real-time conditions. It has the driver, which is an artificial intelligence, which take decisions like when to stop the car, when to accelerate the car, when to change the lane, when to stop at the signal, when somebody is putting a hand, how to recognize that. So all these things are done. Now, how do they integrate this Google Map? Because what happens, you can just feed in your location in the Google Map, and like a human driver who can just like Ola and Uber driver, or you following a Google Map and just going left and right and even seeing the traffic, this Google Map is more than what we normally have in our GPS. So what this Google Map does, it in US, you have a lot of data related to traffic stored in the cloud computing servers. So this is available, for example, if the road is blocked, if there is a procession going on, if there is a road dig. So normally in India, we don't have this information updated by the government on the database or the server for public, but in US, it is available. So this, what happens, the Google Map interact with this particular database and try to identify the best possible route for the drivers. So what happens, they basically also identify, because in US, you have a lot of speed sensors. So it tells them that what is the speed limit in a particular road, what is the upcoming intersection. It also goes to an extent that it tells that the traffic light, is it going to go green or red or something in how many minutes. It also give a traffic report, just like how we get that what's the traffic on a particular road. If there is a collision, see, it goes to an extent, because these all data is available by the government on the cloud server for the public. So the Google map interact with that particular database and give that information to the car to make them understand that this route may have a collision on a flyover on a something, and it might disrupt the traffic. So it is better to divert the car and take from the other route. So the car will follow that. And obviously it will give a proper direction to the car to reach to the destination. Not only this, you can also go ahead and feed. I will show you a video on that. You can feed that if you want to stop somewhere. For example, you are traveling in the car, in a driverless car, and you want to stop at a particular store and pick up certain things, and you will take 30 minutes to do that. So you can mark that on the road you want to stop at a store, the name of the store, and then you can feed that how many minimum or maximum time you need. And also the car will sense when you have come back, you open the door and you come inside and sit. The car will, you can give a voice command or you can give any command and tell the car to start. So car has that sensor also. So now let's see. So what are the hardware sensors the car has? The hardware sensors which basically help the entire car to sense the surrounding, 360-degree surrounding. And this is on a real-time basis. It collects the data, and because see, AI, as I told you in the last class, doesn't work without data. The data is a food or fuel to AI. So hardware sensors collect the data from around the car and give this data. So sensor is just like a human drive 5 senses. That's the name. That's the reason, students, it's called sensors. How human body, in our human body, we have 5 sensors, or the sense organ in a way. We say eyes, nose, tongue, skin, and what else?
Yes.
Yes, ears. So all these 5 senses are sensors in our body. Similarly, the sensors, the human driver, when they are driving the car, they use all these sensors. They use the eye to see our surrounding, right? They use a rear view to see the back, side, front, left, and right. They use the ear to hear the noise from the here and there, the horn and all those kinds. They use or maybe emergency vehicle arriving, like ambulance and all. You hear that, and then they also use sometime if the car is hot or something, you can use it. That's not rarely used, but then you can use that. But anyway, tongue and all those, you don't use it. But similarly, these sense organs, just like a human driver, how they use their 3 main sense organ, that is ear, eye, and the most sometime the touch, the skin also, and the nose also. Sometimes you smell something, you can make out, but those are rarely used. They use these sensors. They have built these sensors and try to work just like a human sensors and collect the data and send it to the application, and the application in the cloud server will use the AI, and the AI take a decisions. So the AI intelligence is taking a decision. So from real time they collect. Now let us see what are those sensors. So hardware sensor is lidar, video camera, position estimator, and distance sensors. So I'll show you this. So let's see. So this is how the car looks like. Lidar is on the top. This is called light detection and ranging. Light detection and ranging is an optical remote sensing technology, which basically, target a light, which can be an infrared light, or it can be initially they wanted to use laser light, but that's very expensive. So this infrared light will be surrounding the car 60 meters. So it can scan any distance around 60 meters, not kilometers, 60 meters around the car, on the left, right, back, and the front. And also they have a video camera on the windscreen, and they have a position estimators on the tires so that the tires can move according to the destination. Also, the position estimators can help the car in detecting the nearby object, whether it's a nearby divider, or it can be a car which is the other car which is very near to the left and right hand sides. Then there is one more sensor which is called distance sensor in the front. So you have actually the distance sensors, which are four: one on the back tire, one on the front tire, one in the front, right in the bonnet, and one on the side of the bonnets. So these distance sensors, what it does, it estimate the nearby object surrounding the car. Then they have the position estimators. These position estimators are on the tires, which basically try to rotate the tire in a particular direction, depending on the sensor. For example, if the sensor sense that there is a nearby car which is very near and it can touch the car, or there is a divider, it will position the car in such a way that there is a enough safe distance between the two objects, between the car and the object. Then you have cameras. So the video camera basically also record the video image of the car, of the surrounding in the front, right? And also there is a rear camera is there. Lidar also has a camera. So what happens, this entire sensors and the camera take the data. They take the input as a data, whether it's a video data, it's a picture, it's a data about the distance, what is the distance between the nearby object, or it's a any object, or it's a signal. Then what it does, it basically, so and then it send that data to the cloud servers, because the cars need to be connected to the internet, run by internet. And the cloud servers, what it will do is, it will have an AI application, and the AI work on with this data and take action very fast. So all these happens very fast. So lidar is the heart of the system. As I said, it is on the top. If you see, this is a lidar on the top of the car, which keeps on rotating in the now this lidar is, as I said, is a light detection and ranging device. It's an optical sensing, remote sensing device which illuminate also the light, and the laser sensors are also uses. So 60 meters around the car, it can sense any object. Video camera is there. Video camera, initially when they developed this car, they also, just a minute. So the video camera also, initially when they started the car was not stopping at the signal. Reason being, there is no obstacle on the signal. The car will stop in only two conditions. One, if the signal, so they will develop a programming code that if the destination has reached, the car will slow down and stop. If there is an obstacle, the car will slow down and stop. But on the traffic, neither the destination has reached, these two conditions are not met. Neither the destination is reached, or nor there is an obstacle in front. So how the car can detect the traffic light? So the video camera will capture the color of the light and will send it to the AI, and from that the AI will take an action whether to start. And the GPS also alert the system that there is a near intersection or a traffic intersection which is coming. Then distance sensors are there. The distance sensor is also very enough to see the car obstacles. Position estimators are wheel encoders. So these program basically help the wheel to come on the track or to move here and there, right? So how the artificial intelligence is used, students, over here? The Google map and the hardware sensors are sent to the AI. So how the AI basically is fueled by two data. One are by the sensors and the or the cameras, and the other by the Google map, which tell the location and which tell the AI who is a driver of the car to rotate the wheel in certain direction, to change the lane, to move to the left direction, to go to the follow a particular route. So these are all sent to AI. AI also determine and take a decision when to accelerate the car, when to slow down the car, when to stop the car, when to steer the wheel in a particular speed, what will be the speed of the car, everything, when to stop at a intersection. Now, these car is being tested from 2014. Waymo has been tested, and it has driven 1,000 miles more than that. And this car is tested in the Mexico, which has a very difficult terrain, like you have hills up and down, zigzag roads, anywhere with a heavy traffic, and there's no accident reported yet. The car also have a capability, better capability. It has a computer vision capability, which is again one of the domain of AI, that it can actually, with the computer vision, it can also drive in a very difficult visibility, very difficult visibility. For example, heavy rain, when the visibility becomes very low, or fog, or snowfall, the human eyes doesn't have a capability to actually understand these snowfalls. They don't have a capability to understand, have a visibility to see in a fog, even if the fog light is on. And human visibility is very bad when it comes to the rain, heavy rain. So there's a lot of possibility during that particular time that accident can happen. But this car will not, because this car has a computer vision where in the rear visibility also it can detect the object through the sensor, and the camera also has a laser beam which can detect this object and can help the car in driving safely. So the car is very safe. Let's see this.
As a boy, I loved cars. When I turned 18, I lost my best friend to a car accident, like this. And then I decided I dedicate my life to saving 1 million people every year. Now, I haven't succeeded, so this is just a progress report, but I'm here to tell you a little bit about self-driving cars. I saw the concept first in the DARPA Grand Challenges, where the US government issued a prize to build self-driving cars that could navigate a desert. And even though 100 teams were there, these cars went nowhere. So we decided at Stanford to build a different self-driving car. We built the hardware, the software. We made it learn from us. And we set it free in the desert. And the unimaginable happened. It became the first car to ever return from a DARPA Grand Challenge, winning Stanford $2 million, yet I still haven't saved a single life. Since our work is focused on building driving cars that can drive anywhere by themselves, any street in California, we've driven 140,000 miles. Our cars have sensors on which they magically can see everything around them and make decisions about every aspect of driving. It's the perfect driving mechanism. We've driven in cities, like in San Francisco here. We've driven from San Francisco to Los Angeles on Highway 1. We've encountered joggers, busy highways, toll booths, and this is without a person in the loop. The car just drives itself. In fact, while we drove 140,000 miles, people didn't even notice. Mountain roads, day and night, and even crooked Lombard Street in San Francisco. Sometimes our cars get so crazy, they even do the little stunts.
Oh my God. What?
No, I can't get my friend Harold back to life, but I can do something for all the people who died. Did you know that driving accidents are the #1 cause of death for young people? And do you realize that almost all of those are due to human error and not machine error, and can therefore be prevented by machines? Do you realize that we could change the capacity of highways by a factor of of 2 or 3 if we didn't rely on human precision on staying in the lane, but on robotic precision, and thereby drive a little bit closer together, a little bit narrower lanes, and do away with all traffic jams on highways? Do you realize that you, TED users, spend an average of 52 minutes per day in traffic, wasting your time on your daily commute? You could regain this time. This is 4 billion hours wasted in this country alone. And it's 2.4 billion gallons of gasoline wasted. Now, I think there's a vision here, a new technology, and I'm really looking forward to a time when generations after us look back at us and say how ridiculous it was that humans were driving cars. Thank you.
So students till now, they have driven in San Francisco, Mexico's, and there is no accident so far. The question comes is that, okay, fine, why if they are, I'm not going to ask this question, but the question comes in mind that why these vehicles, if, are when they are ready, they have been tested, there's nothing wrong in that, why they're not coming into the market, why they're not able to launch? And the answer to that is that the legal framework is not ready. If you have a mix, there are many conditions like that. For example, if you have a car with which is driverless car and it's just driving on its own, and let's say one particular sensor stopped working and there is a mishap or there is an accident, who's responsible? Suppose you're not sitting, you're sitting in the office and you call the car from your house. The car has nobody, it is driving on its own, it's coming to your office. On the way, one particular sensor stopped working and the car hit somebody and there's an accident. And you are, because if the car is owned by you, you will be behind bars. The legal system in any country is built around a human driver and the crime against them. It is not built around a technology driver. How can you? So are you going to tell that, no, I was not driving, I was not there, and it is the Google who has given me the car, you catch hold of Google and put them behind the car. So what human legal system is drawn around the human drivers. And the second very important concept is that, the car can drive well because see, the human drivers obviously will make mistakes. Think about yourself when you are driving or you're riding. How many times you follow the rules? You will follow the rules only when a traffic policeman is watching you, right? And when the traffic policeman is not watching, you will break all kinds of rules. All of us do that. We all are in hurry when we are in a traffic. We just want to reach to our destination as fast as possible. So what happens if these technology-driven cars, whether somebody is watching or not watching, will follow all kinds of legal standards, will all follow all kinds of traffic rules, and they will not violate. So if you have all the car driven by technology, then it is a good condition. But the environment where you have some car driven by technology, some car driven by human drivers, then in that case, what happens that there is a possibility that human drivers will do a mistake and it will hit the car and they will blame because they will know, okay, fine, there's nobody here in the car. Let me blame and say that technology failed and that's the reason. So these legal framework is not ready for this car to be on the road, though there are many companies who have already come with the semi-autonomous features. There are companies, for example, Uber has introduced, the driverless taxis in their cities. They have already driven 100 taxis are there which don't have, but the system says, the legal framework say that let it be an autonomous driver, autonomous car, driverless car, but there should be a driver sitting behind the wheel. There should be somebody sitting behind the wheel so that if the car stop working or if a sensor stop working, there is a human driver which can take control. So the semi-autonomous kind of a system is allowed at present in certain countries. I've seen in Bangalore also 1 or 2 cars which I saw, They have given a warning outside that this car is driverless, and be aware. So this is how the cars are actually working. I will also show you a company site where they have this car, the intelligent car by, this I think is a Bosch. So how Bosch has introduced this, I'll just show you a video. So this is a video of a Bosch, and this is the connected computers.
Incoming video conference call.
I'm just showing it to you.
You are in control mode. Incoming video conference call. Automated driving available. Drive. Hold fast. Hold fast. Start. Back. Start. Hold. Please take back control now. Back control. Start. Hold now. Incoming smart home call.
So this is the connected car or smart car. They have intelligent driver assistant, which can track things like markers on the road, distance between cars, sensors from. So Bosch is not making a car; they are making sensors, and they're making these car travel. So they are selling these automated driving experience to the companies. Then they have a life assistant. So the personal assistants with some smart home tips, like you can control your house, controlling things from your car itself. Your car can connect to your house. Working environment with the car, latest car technology. The phone conference you can do. Suppose you are stuck in the traffic and your colleague want to have you are late for your meeting, so you can do that on a screen. So how connected car has joined some, so you can see this just. It's called Sensocastra, right? So basically, the without the sensor, as they said, there is no Internet of Thing. So basically, Internet of Thing and all these sensors are making the communication between appliances, devices, cars. You can see all these kinds. Okay. I will show you a few more examples. Before that, is there any question? Okay. So let's see some more example. So I will show you the example of the Kia factory also, how they are using robots, which are controlled through AI. Just a minute. Before that, I'll just show you, Audi car.
I think you'd have a hard time to come across a more warm, family-like partnership between two companies, and that's NVIDIA and Audi. We've been at this for a good part of about 10 years, and we have really been hand in hand shaping the future of the automotive industry. If you look at the Google Earth that we introduced together back in 2010, if you look at virtual cockpit and what we achieved there, and of course, both of our companies are very interested in automated piloted driving. This car has a very special set of sensors and a camera, and it's utilizing the NVIDIA hardware inside as well as artificial intelligence. And so it is actually learning the course as it's going. And with that knowledge, it is able to actually drive autonomously around. And then halfway throughout the demo, there is an obstacle that is brought into it. It recognizes there is now an obstacle, and it drives around it in a different kind of course. All of that, again, is done by the vehicle itself, and it just shows how powerful this technology could be in the real world. Artificial intelligence is absolutely crucial in achieving the next generations of autonomous driving. That's for two reasons. Number one, it's much safer. And number two, it will allow us to get there a lot quicker because we have this data and we have the robust experience of all these different cars out there that will enable us to have this technology a lot quicker than we would otherwise have. We have announced that we will be doing the Z-Fast in the next generation A8, which will be coming to the global market this year in 2017. To the US market, it will come in early 2018. And then, of course, the next big step for us is that we will have the artificial intelligence with level 4 automation available in the marketplace by 2020. If we look at our partnership and what we've achieved over the years, it's been absolutely exemplary. And now I think it's really, really exciting to look at the new frontier that we are embarking on together. And that is, of course, autonomous driving.
Okay, so you can see that how Nivedita and the Audi has combined to come up with an autonomous feature which they wanted to launch, but they could not do it. And I'm just going to show you Kia factory also. How Kia factory is using these are all, the robotic arms, which we say the robots. And these robotic arms just work like a human labor. Now, the car and automobile industries are such, which is called heavy industries, where, it is also called assembling industry, where you have three processes, assembling the chassis, engine, and then the body. So how they make sure that none of the part, even a single screw is not missing. They make sure that, so I'll show you. So you can see that on the top, the body of the car is ready and it is moving through, the chain. But then it will, and these are robotic arms which are building the other parts. Okay. So some more example I will show you, then I'll move to the other topic. So now let's talk about something which is coming up as a new feature. See, we're talking about robots, which are like human-like uh, things which is coming. Like, so robots are basically the metallic form of the human body, and we try to imitate human behavior using robot. Can walk like human being, they can talk like us. With the AI, they can think like us, more and exactly like us, but they can't 100% mimic. Human brain are more powerful than the robotic brains. They can also go to an extent to understand emotion. And there is a new version, a revolution of robots which has come, which is called androids or humanoids. These humanoids are something which look exactly like human being, like Sophia, and they have they looks, you can't make a differentiation, and they can sense, they can have emotions, they have machine learning to learn from the mistake, the how we learn from our mistakes. So I will show you one very funny example of a scene from a movie, because when I was teaching AI in my to my management students, so one of the student asked me that, ma'am, you told that now today AI has become so important, or one of the domain of AI, which is robots, is so important. They can do anything what human being can do. They can become a nurse. They can become a driver. They can work as a worker in the factory. They can do anything. You said, ma'am. So one of the boy was very notorious in the class, like normally the students will be when you interact with them physically in the class. He immediately said, ma'am, one thing they can't do. I said, what? They can't shit. I then remembered a movie which I saw long time back, and the movie is called License to Wed. And this movie is where there's a custom in one of the village or one a countryside in US, where a person, a boy who want to marry a girl, will have to actually pass certain test, and then he get a license to wed. So this boy, this couple who want to get married, move to that country to get those tests done. And one of the tests was to handle babies. Now, who can give them babies, real babies to handle? Because they are not married, they're not experienced. Nobody will give them that. So what happens? I'll show you. It's a very funny part. So just give me a few seconds. I'll just play that. Okay, I'm unable to find. I will show you that, but before that, I want you to see one more how the Google did the test driving for their car using a blind person. So a blind person actually drove the Google driverless car. So I'll show you that, and meanwhile I will just try to find out that video and play it for you.
Google is finally getting serious about self-driving cars. As in, it's getting serious about making self-driving cars and putting them in consumer hands. Now, the tech giant is finally making its own self-driving car company called Waymo. In the 7 years of the hey, something went wrong, for Steve Mahan, it was a really big deal. Something that's ready to go out into the real few notches in its belt. After more than around public roads with nobody around to take control in case something went wrong.
We drove all over the Bay Area and showed that, yes, ready to go out into the real world.
Oh, and that passenger, he's legally blind. The drive was a quick 10-minute or so loop around the Texas Capitol, which conveniently doesn't have any laws saying you have to have a human backup for a self-driving car.
So this person who's traveling now is a blind person, and the Google is testing with a blind person that how this driver, how the Google can make him reach his destination with safely.
But for Steve Mahan, it was a really big deal.
Going where I need to go in a vehicle without having to make arrangements with other drivers or a family member or some form of public transportation. It just let me be a whole person again.
Ever since deciding to make a fully driverless car, one without a steering wheel or pedals, Google has harped on the potential to put anybody who can't drive back in command of a vehicle. And now that Google's finally talking about bringing that technology to market, a fresh litany of challenges arises. To hit the ground in cities around the world, Waymo must map every inch of every street it's going to travel and squeeze money out of a newborn industry that's already
Okay,
crowded.
fine. I'm going to show you now the one which I told you. Just let me find out that. Give me a few seconds. Just give me a few seconds. Just give me a few seconds. I'll just find out that.
Stitch ಹತ್ತಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೋರ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್. Nibab Home Lifts. Instant installation, almost zero alteration. Plug and play in a single day. Nibab Home Elevators from just rupees 8.99 lakhs only.
Little Sadie Jones. Certify you ready for marriage. Little Mensa. Rule number one, no.
There is a fire in the building.
Just a minute. I'll just locate that. Try to find it out. Okay, fine. I'm not able to get that.
Reverend Frank. Okay, make one. And if you're going to be in the delivery room.
Okay, so I'll just show you. So this was certain test which was done. One of the tests where they use robotic babies.
The course, then would take it more seriously, you know? What a piece. Do not set dangerous precedent. experiences, they can never look at their wives the same again. Sexually, that is. Have big families. You? Yeah. No. Four might be kind of a big commitment. I did it. Totally right. I mean,
Okay,
there's
so
any chance way to go.
this is not
So
able to
good of him
find
to
the
try it.
exact one. Now, so few more thing. I'm going to just take you through one more thing which will make you actually, you know, think about something. So I'll give you something which we can think. As I was telling you that we are basically we have moved from AI to robots, and today we may say that robot can pose a threat to our life, and a lot of things like that. But more than robots, there are certain things which is, I think, equally threatening, like cyborg. So the next step in the evolution of human being is cyborg. We are going to talk about that today. Now, so what is a cyborg? Cyborg is a cybernetic organism, means that a human being half, using machines or AI to, overcome some weaknesses or some physical disability or mental disability. Like how do we see in movies? Now, normally this started when human being, for example, had their arm or leg amputated, and they started using technology, like how you can see the person doesn't have a leg, and he uses a technology just to walk exactly like a normal human being can do. But slowly what happened, these technologies started advancing in such a way that they started using intelligence machine with a AI, technology to make it stronger and more capable than the human capability. So that's how the cyborg is advancing nowadays, students. So as I said, the cyborg is name of the cybernetic organism. It's a combination that when a man uses a machine, it's not robot because you are a man and you are using a machine to overcome some kind of a physical or mental disability. First cyborg in the world is Kelvin Warwick. Kelvin Warwick is a professor in a university, and he is doing a lot of study and research because legally it is not allowed for anybody to, use a kind of a technology or electronic things in a hand to increase your capability. But what is happening is that he was the first one to experiment on himself. So what he did was that he created a cybernetic arm. He simulated with the AI, his arm functionalities, like his arms gestures, into the cybernetic arm. And then he introduced lot of electrode in his, arms, just like, how you have seen in Iron Man. Have you seen? I don't know how many of you have seen the Iron Man. In the Iron Man 3, the Tony Stark, who was a Iron Man, who projected as a Iron Man, also injected an electrode into his hand. And Kelvin, actually, this was taken from the Kelvin Warwick, basically experiment where he did the same thing. And same thing has happened in the Iron Man also, where he wanted to recognize his hand to recognize the iron suit and give him that power. So that was done. So a lot of cyborg things are coming up nowadays. A lot of companies are coming up and using the AI technology and the electronic and even the sensors, also the IoT sensors, basically to enhance the human capability. Like, for example, I'll give you some example here, and I will show you also that how it is, real cyborgs are. So vision enhancing contact lens by Google, they have come up, but the government is not allowing them to do that. It looks like a contact lens, but it has an additional feature. It doesn't only correct your eye problems, like for example, if you have eye sightness problem, it doesn't correct that, but it also help you in seeing something which is beyond the capability of human vision. So I'll show you a video also on that. For example, if you've seen the Mission Impossible, spelling is wrong here, sorry for that. So there was a lens which was used in this movie. Using this lens, a particular person can actually, even in the Terminator also, the lens can, see through a person, and also can identify a person through his face and connect to a cloud server where the person entire, details are put. For example, his name, his age, his address. So when you see a person, the camera in your eye will take a picture, connect to the cloud computing, and in the cloud computing database, it will search through the picture and find out who this person is, and you can identify and you can find anything from this person. So this is how this particular thing was done. So Warnick person has also made a control bionic arm, which was used by a person called Jesse Selvin. Jesse Selvin actually lost his arm, and so he was help. He was a painter, so he used this bionic arm, and with his bionic arm, without getting tired, he can paint for hours and hours. Like a human arm will paint for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours maximum, and it start painting. And you can't do it, and you can't do it in a particular manner. Your speed will come down, your quality will differ. But Jesse Selvin, when he put the bionic arm, which is controlled through AI or to a computers, he can paint it for hours and hours without getting fatigue. Then there was a retinal implant project which was going on in one of the university, Boston University, where they can implement your eye with a retina, retinal implement. And this is also called, actually in a way, called red eye. So Rob Spence actually used this, and he didn't have one eye. He had only one eye, and one eye was damaged. In India, we use actually stones or something to replace the retina, but you can't see from that eye. But he used this, and with the help of this bionic arm or the retinal thing, he could not only see just how the human vision can see, but he can see beyond that. He can see a object beyond a distance, which human being can see. So there are certain movies which basically project the use of cyborg, like Star Wars, Eliminator, Iron Man. Okay. So I'm going to show you the Neil Harbisson, who's a real-time, cyborg. Then you have, the theory of everything person also. I forgot his name. He died now, but he was also the person who was an expert in AI, and Intel has used a machine to, he could not move his head, he could not talk. And but with the help of the machines, he can, whatever question you ask, he will think the answer and it can be interpreted. So Neil Harbisson is also using, I'll show you how he's using it. So if you can see, I'm going to. So this is a Neil Harbison. Neil Harbison actually is using a machine on his head. If you
My
can
name
see
is Neil
here.
Harbison, and I'm one of the founders of the Cyborg Foundation. And I'm a cyborg. To us, a cyborg is a feeling. It's feeling that you're not using technology, that you're not wearing technology. It's feeling that you are technology.
Neil Harbison was born completely colorblind. And while Neil still can't see color, a device called the iBorg allows him to hear and sense colors.
It picks up the dominant color in front of me, and then it transposes this frequency of light into the frequency of sound. So it's related to the frequency of light. It's not an arbitrary relation. This light frequency has a specific note, which is the note that I hear, but a few octaves lower, so that it's in the audible range.
Neil has been able to hear color through bone conduction since 2004, when he convinced a doctor to anonymously perform a drastic surgery.
My head was drilled 4 times so that I could have the antenna integrated. So it goes inside my skull. So I actually feel cyborg. I feel that even if I touch the antenna, I feel it's like a part of my body. It really feels like a new body part. There's no way of removing it. So it's just like other animals, they have antennas. I decided that I would have an antenna as well.
Neil says the iBorg has expanded his senses beyond normal human capability.
I decided to include infrared colors and ultraviolets, which are invisible to the human eye, but that they can be perceived through our third eyes. And then once this became normal, I didn't see why I should only perceive the colors that I have in front of me. So I decided to have Bluetooth so I could receive colors from other places of the planet.
Neil isn't the only cyborg on this planet. Professor Kevin Warwick implanted a chip in his arm in 1998.
A radio frequency identification device.
Entrepreneur Emil Grafstra, with RFID chips in each of his hands, can unlock his car or computer with a single wave. His company, Dangerous Things, sells do-it-yourself body hacking kits. Some gamers are in on the action too, using brain stimulators to gain superhuman focus. Bionics researcher Michael McAlpine sees this type of technology advancing into the mainstream.
You know, up till now, I think most people have thought of bionics as people who have impaired capabilities like lost sight, giving them the ability to repair those capabilities. But going forward, I think there is the possibility if you can do that, then you can also take that to the next step and actually give normal human advanced capabilities that biology never gave them, and perhaps let them do what maybe only certain animals can do, or maybe let them do what no one can do.
Neil Harbison's experience shows how quickly technology is transforming culture.
Social reaction has changed over the years. So in 2004, people thought it was a light. Later, people started to think it was a microphone. 2006, I think they thought it was for chatting. Then in 2009, people started to think it was a hands-free phone. So they thought it was a new telephone. Now people think it's something to do with Google Glass. So it's changed over the years. Now people think that I'm actually filming them, which is creates uncomfortable situations. So I'm thinking of changing the image, and I might just move the sensor down so that it creates less confrontation with people that might think that I'm actually filming them. But I'm sure that in 2-3 years, people will think it's something else. It keeps changing.
Although some people still don't know how to react to the antenna, times are changing.
I think we are now entering the age of transition into cyber. So we'll see more wearable technology becoming accepted and normalized. Once wearing technology becomes something normal, we'll start seeing the transition into implanting the technology. People will start accepting this more. So in the 20s, the late 20s, we'll see more and more projects with new body parts and new senses. And I believe that in the 40s, it will be normal to have technology implanted. So it will be normal to merge humans and technology and to unite cybernetics and organisms. I'm sure it will be normal to meet someone and ask, what are your extra senses and what's your new body part?
Okay, so you can see that how this particular technology is actually, trying to reshape. There is also one of the project by MIT students on something called eternity.me. This is a little scary, but it is like, for example, when you lose somebody who's very nearby to you. So there was actually a serial recently called Black Mirror, And in that, one of the wife lost her husband, and she was very fond of her husband. She was feeling very lonely, and she wanted a digital, what you can say, kind of a replica of her husband, so she can feel that and she can talk to that person. She was a very lonely person. And so eternity.me was done by students as a project for their MIT engineering projects. And they came up with this, and they said that they want to create artificial intelligence algorithm to generate a virtual you. That means if you, so what they need was the data, the voice data of the person, the image of the person, the video of the person. And so if you lose somebody, you can just chat with the person. So I'm just going to take you through the site. Just give me for a second. And then we will come to this. So the soon future will be that where you can, transpose yourself from physically you are somewhere and digitally you are somewhere. So all those movies are also already being there, and you are going to, become, that is going to become reality. So I'm going to take you to this website now. Yeah. They can see a journey to digital immortality, so AI avatars, which can collect the thoughts and memories, and it can make a digital clone of yourself. Soon there was a news that everybody, even Ashwarya, wanted a digital clone of herself. So if somebody is dying, you can make a digital clone of that person in Eternity 9, sorry, Avatar. So 2 years, almost 30,000 people have done this. They have created Avatar and they have come out with that. There are a lot of movies which are showing this. For example, I just gave you the example of Black Mirror, where they have shown the image of the person in that way. So you can give a second life avatar to a person who has passed away. So this was an MIT internship, entrepreneurship development program. This is a team who has developed this. People are liking that. It is like they have came up with the idea like Skype with your dead, and they came up with this project. They've written a book also on this. You can see. So I will just paste this site on the chat box. You can go ahead and read about what they have done, how they have come up, and how do they make sure that the image which they. So I'll just show you a video on this first.
I will tell you about my first memory as a child. I was 2 years old when my dad took me to the beach for the first time. I was completely naked and only had a white sun hat. My dad carried me on his shoulders. To me, it seemed I was the tallest person on that beach. It was a feeling I can never forget.
Okay, so you saw this video. Okay, fine. So these are few things which you can actually see in the Black Mirror. Also, this particular scene was there. You can watch in the Netflix where the person died, and they made a virtual image of that person. So let's show you this now. Few more example I will give you.
What is capturing most people's imagination with wearable technology is the fact that it allows us to sort of surpass a lot of the weaknesses in our human body, in our own skin.
Wearable can help in the future, I think, to compensate some of the limits of the individuals.
I think as technologies become more radical, we can be superhumans in certain fields.
Technology can allow us to extend many senses that we are not extending.
People have lost limbs, people have lost their senses. Technology, when it's reintroduced to the human body, can kind of give people back those experiences.
My parents and my older brother and his wife were on vacation in the Panhandle in Florida. We were out in the ocean fishing one day. All of a sudden, something grabs me on my right leg, takes me underwater, and the rest was pretty much just like the movie Jaws. They had to amputate my leg about 5 inches above the knee. The Vanderbilt powered prosthesis, which has a motor in the knee and a motor in the ankle, acts as basically a quadricep muscle and a calf muscle. And so walking up a slope, instead of me just having to drag weight on my limb, the knee and ankle is providing a push off that propels me up this slope.
It knows physically how the person's interacting with it. Measuring that information 500 times a second all the time. It figures out really quickly based on a change in patterns in that information, change in how you're slinging it around, and it can replicate any function provided by the healthy limb. We have to very consciously develop controllers that ensure that the leg will move in a coordinated way and will do what the person wants it to do, what the person intends it to do. We can help people walk faster. We can help people walk more safely.
I think we will eventually become a cyborg in a conceptual way.
You know, when you get biology and technology together, you can really start mending stuff that was not possible before.
I was born completely colorblind. I was always interested in perceiving color. My name is Neil Harbison, and I feel that I'm a cyborg. In 2004, I started a project with the intention of extending my senses and create something that would allow me to perceive color. The result was a camera that detected the light frequency of the color in front of me that allowed me to hear color. Each color, like red and orange, has a different light frequency. So this frequency corresponds to a specific sound, and this is the sound that I hear. So this is, for example, this is an F sharp bottle. It sounds orange. So at the beginning, my aim was to perceive as many colors as other humans. But when I was able to perceive 360 different microtones for 360 different colors, I realized that I was able to perceive color better than my friends. It's changed the way I perceive everything, because everything that I look sounds, because there's color almost everywhere. And also the way I perceive art has changed, because now painters have become composers. I no longer feel that this is a wearable device. I feel that this is a body part. The union between technology and human can actually enhance humans in a way that we've never been thinking about.
You could choose the augmentations to your body. You know, maybe you want to be super strong. Maybe someone else wants to fly. You can use technology to enhance the thing you want to enhance when you want to enhance it. IDOS consists of two masks. So the first one is IDOS vision, and that is affects the way that we see motion. So it enhances our perception of motion. So it creates this effect where you can see the motion history and traces and patterns that are normally hidden to the naked eye. And then our second device targets our hearing. And what it does is that enhances the way that we hear speech. It screens out all the background noise and uses a directional microphone to only pick out what I want. Can you hear me now? Yes? Good. I think we set technology as something to run towards, but the problem is that technology does limit our imaginations. Our perspective has always been to look at it from a kind of more provocative.
So the students, the question which should come to your mind is that, you know, as I said, does AI and cyborg really threaten the future human race? So what is like human versus AI? What do you think? Is AI more dangerous, like robots more dangerous, or is it like cyborg? Who will be more dangerous? I want you people to respond. You can speak. Do you think in the future, when we have, see, I personally feel the cyborg till an extent where it is trying to overcome some, disability in you. For example, let's say you don't have a leg and it is helping you to walk like a human being, it's okay. If you don't, like the Neil Harbisson was a color blind, he could not see the color. It is helping Neil Harbisson to, see different colors, or hearing the colors he can imagine, or he can understand what color he's looking at. All these are to overcome the physical disability. Similarly, robots has so many threat to human environment, to the social environment, economical, taking our jobs away. The robots are becoming stronger mentally, physically. You see in the movie how they are taking over the humankind. So which is more dangerous according to you, cyborg or robots? What do you feel? Anybody can just randomly speak, and then we'll wind off, because you're the people who are going to write coding for them. You're the people who are going to develop that. So think about it before you. So that's the reason I thought I'm going to talk about this, because ethically you should be responsible about for how you are doing it. Ultimately, I personally have a very strong belief, and I keep on telling my students that technology doesn't create difference in our life. It's how we use technology that create difference. So I want you people to tell, anyone can take in a mic, or can stand up and speak whether you feel cyborg, developing cyborg, where a person would like to compete like a superhuman being. Everybody will have some powers using technology. You can see cross the wall. You can jump from top building without getting hurt. You can just, uh, run faster than an aeroplane or a train. You can do anything, right? Everybody start competing with each other that who has greater manpower. That's a cyborg. Or you want to have a world with robots doing all kind of jobs, even robots trying to understand your emotions, go to an extent to do everything what is possible by a human being. So what do you think is more dangerous, or what do you think is the more threatening to human or mankind? Yeah, Anybody? No one want to speak? So should we wind off? Yeah. You can put in the chat box if you don't want to speak. Because see, everything, as when you're developing something, you should always have a social, economical, and ethical responsibilities also. Somebody said, what are driverless car, whether they are fuel based or battery? No, it's a battery vehicle. Driverless car, even Tesla, Audi, Mercedes, all these cars are semi-autonomous car at present, because you can just park your car on their own. You just get down in the shopping mall and the car goes on its own and park. That features are available nowadays in our car, that's in the market. But fully autonomous car is that without drivers, it can drive on its own. But it is a very lightweight car. It has sensors. It has so many technologies. And the very important thing is the, the battery run car, like Tesla. Yes, somebody said that what if the fuel goes down or the battery? So there are sensors, no? The sensor will check before the car starts. The sensor check everything, the car pressure, all the sensors are working. Like how when you start a computer, it boots and check that all the input and output devices are working. Is it interfacing with the software or not? And then it gives you. So similarly, when you start a car, it will tell you how you normally in the human driver, it shows you that the petrol is not there. So it will tell. And there is always a communication between, even if the person is not sitting in the car, he can see the car where it is on his mobile phone. He can locate that. So if the car fuel is gone, it will give an alert to the person that the car fuel is not enough for the car to come to the, or the battery is not enoughly charged so that it can come to the destination. All these indications will come. Yeah, anybody else? Anything? Or should we wind off? Okay, what is your view on Elon Musk remark on AI that it can be a threat to humanity, so who's himself developing? Yeah, that's a great questions actually. Elon Musk, then even the Google also, Larry Page. These are the companies, all Microsoft, Google, Apple, all these companies are actually developing AI technologies to an extent that it should become more capable than human being or human brain. But at the same time, Elon Musk is also warning the entire world uh, to tell them that don't build a technology which surpass the human mental capability or physical capability. So what do you see in the human? Now, Elon Musk is developing the car which are semi-autonomous. He's developing utility using. He said that he always say that the technology should be developed to serve the humankind, not to overpower the humankind or not to replace the humankind. So he is actually not doing anything which is, against what he believes. He always believed that the technology always should serve humankind, should always be under the control of humankind. You cannot do build any technology which can cause harm to humankind. So that's the reason why he's always giving a precautions and always warning the entire world that, because there are so many companies, you can see a movie called artificial intelligence, a lot of movies which shows that how robots are going, or maybe your Rajnikant movie, I don't remember, robot only. So that a chitti robot, how if the robots can actually become a danger to humankind, because if you develop robot mental capability stronger than human capability, till now they could not develop any robot which can be which has a stronger ability than human being. Physically they can. I personally feel that why don't they develop robot to fight on the war, so that we can save the life of the human being? Why that robots only should fight? They can be used for that. Why we are using actually this? But then again, the human so that's the reason why countries have their own system where they also have legal restrictions on developing robots. Like India, in Bangalore you have a, or in Chennai you have a restaurant which is operated by robots. In Japan also you have a hotel fully operated by robots. In China, you have a bank fully operated by robots. So you have a lot of social, economical, and security issues related to robots. But Elon Musk is not doing anything which is trying to create a danger for the human race. So he is just making the AI technology which can serve human being and may help them instead of making them more powerful than human beings. So I don't think he's doing something wrong. Yeah, anybody else? Okay, then in that case, students will wind off. If you have any other suggestion for the next session, I can go for it. I was actually today thinking of going with the cybersecurity. Then I was told that only few students are there in cybersecurity. I also thought that we can do a project where we can make a autonomous car using a sensors. You can develop a sensor. Let us see in the next class if we can uh, understand what kind of hardware components which we can get in market, and we can build so that each center can take up a project where we can make a small type toy car with sensors and which work like an autonomous car. I think we did this particular project a long time back in my college, and there they could do it to make the car, drive in a particular lane and stop at certain obstacles. That much they could do it. So maybe you can develop a coding for that. AI coding, the students can do that. Those who are doing IoT, they can develop the IoT sensor for that. So let me see, because I forgot that project, so I have to revive myself on that. So in order to ask you to make that project, so maybe we can do that once. Let me be confident about it, and then I will go about that project. So anyway, we will wind off our session here, and next class let us see if we can do some practicals. Okay, bye. Good night to you, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.